Hey, freight agents, are you tired of being held back? Since 2012, Tallgrass Freight has built a proven track record at the top-tier independent freight agent network, and we're just getting started. Here, our agents get the best of both worlds, the freedom to be true entrepreneurs paired with the full support of a company that has their back, uncapped commission, zero territory restrictions, and a world-class back office. At Tallgrass, you're never just a number. You're part of a network that values independence, celebrates success, and invests in your future. Whether you're a solo agent or leading a team, Tallgrass gives you the tools, transparency, and flexibility to grow your business on your terms. No corporate red tape, no micromanaging, just freedom, support, and unlimited potential. To join our team, visit tallgrassfreight.com/podcast. That's tallgrassfreight.com/podcast. Welcome to the Recruiting Stories Podcast, where we celebrate recruiting by exploring the stories of leaders and top performers by digging into their stories and understanding how recruiting has impacted their journey and their success. Okay, guys, welcome to the next edition of the Recruiting Stories Podcast. I am thrilled that our next guest is Sean Richardson, president of Tallgrass Freight. Welcome, Sean.
Hey, Adrian. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, man, this is exciting. So we're actually at the headquarters of Tallgrass, and he's showing me around a little bit today and showing me all the cool things that they're doing. So maybe start, what's going on in the world of Tallgrass here? Anything exciting or new?
Yeah, so I feel like with Tallgrass, we're always trying to get better. We're always trying to invent the next way to grow and develop our brand. You know, we're very, very fortunate that we've got such a core group of agents and business owners with us that have helped us thrive, especially in this challenging marketplace. So yeah, we're in growth mode, looking for good quality people that want to come in and kind of make something for themselves, maximize their own potential. So just exciting, quick times. I can't believe the year's half over.
No kidding. I feel like it was yesterday and I was just like, okay, what's the outlook? And then I think the funny thing I kind of been talking about with candidates and companies alike is like next quarter, it's going to be the freight recovery. Like next quarter, it's going to shoot up. Are you guys seeing that?
Is your crystal ball broken too?
Yes, it is.
I have a joke that every time I do a quarterly update, something happens the next day and it changes the whole quarterly update. So it's like you got to pull down, update it. But no, I think it's definitely been a challenging marketplace. There's been a lot of uncertainty, which I think we've seen politically, economically as well too, that presents its own unique brand of challenges. But even with that, we're kind of just keeping our head down and focusing on what we got to do best, which is, providing agents a good platform and a home for them to come in and develop the brand.
Yep. Before we go more into your background, Tallgrass, what's going on in the market, et cetera, it's baseball season, right? I feel like I should know this, but are you a Royals guy or like who's your team?
So growing up in San Diego, I was a Padres fan.
That's right.
It's really funny you bring that up because last night I was watching movies. My kids were watching Angels in the Outfield.
Classic.
And I was a California Angels fan as well. Mark Langston was my guy. That's the standpoint. But I've been out in the Kansas City area now for almost 25 years. God, sounds like a long time when you put it that way. So I've really kind of embraced the KC sports culture, the Royals, the Chiefs. It does help that the Royals and the Padres are in two different leagues, so they kind of root for them both at the same time.
AL and L, you got both teams.
And being a Chargers fan, I think I was probably the only Phillip Rivers fan in the league. So
you for sure were.
I feel like I always had to support. Like, well, if he was your guy, you would love him. So, but no, it's just. Sports is great. Kansas City is such a great area for sports and embracing and loving their team. So it just kind of makes it easy to jump on the bandwagon.
Yeah,
especially when the Royals had their run in 2015 and
man, that was fun. Yeah.
Since then,
that was a fun run. I got to go to a couple of those games like right before the series.
I've got a picture in my office of Game 1 of the 2015 World Series where Alex Gordon hit his home run. And my wife and I were there. It's just one of those memorable moments. It's just like, man, I'm just so thankful we got to be here.
Yeah. You could just feel the energy in the city, in Kansas City. That's like, so I don't live in Kansas City anymore for those, watching, listening. But when I was here for that run, I try to always explain the energy around the city that created was extremely unique.
It was unreal. And the thing with baseball versus football, playoff football is awesome too, but it's one day a week.
Right.
Playoff baseball, it's 4 or 5 games a week. So it's like, dude, watch a game and there were a lot of very close games that just went back and forth and were just awesome endings. And then it's like, okay, you stay up at 2:00 to get your energy levels so high, go to work, the next game's on. So it was just never ending, which is outstanding.
It felt like a week-long festival of baseball when you had that. Yeah,
we just feel blessed because growing up as a Padre fan, they went to the World Series, I think in '98, and got smoked by the Yankees. So like, it wasn't even an option of like, we had a chance in the series. It was like, no, because during the Yankees three-peat, they were just getting crushed left and right. So truly being able to experience that, like my kids were young at that point in time, so they didn't really get a grasp of it. But my oldest son, who's just, in love with Kansas City sports, he's just relishing in this Chiefs dynasty that we have going on. So I'm just like, man, this is just so lucky for you. Embrace it, love it.
Man, 100%. Yeah, because it's, anytime I talk to people around the country for recruiting and everything like that, somebody's like, oh, like I'm very quiet, whatever, Browns fan.
Yeah.
I don't know whoever has the stigma. But I'm like, listen,
poor Browns fans.
Yeah, I know. I know. I'm like, there's no hope. No, I'm just kidding. But for real, it can all change very quickly. I was a Chiefs fan for a long time. The kid, when we were like, the best we could get was a wild card game, and that was really great. But now it's almost the converse, where it's like, I want to enjoy it, but not too much.
Yeah,
because it could disappear really quickly. But I don't want to be an obnoxious fan. But it also changes how you think about it too, because you're like, we've won 3. It's like, do I care if we win 4? Like, yeah, but it's not the same as it was when we were trying to get our first or second one.
I think, losing to the Eagles, it broke my son's heart. It was just heartbroken, especially just getting dominated like that. But my wife and I had those conversations. It didn't hurt his bad because we've won 3 already. I mean, like, we've been to, I don't know, 5 straight AFC championship games. It's like, it almost just becomes like, well, we're not playing spoiled. Yeah, you don't realize how spoiled you are. But But yeah, just, take it as a blessing, because it'll be gone here before we know it.
No doubt. Okay, let's recap your background a little bit.
Sure.
So if you don't know Sean, Division I baseball player, played catcher, yes, for the Kansas Jayhawks. So I know you're a Jayhawk. Tell me a little bit about that experience, just getting recruited and then jumping into the corporate world and maybe start on your career journey.
Sure. Baseball and sports was something that was part of my life since I was a little kid. And I was always just, coming out of San Diego, I was always just a very average player. I wasn't heavily recruited. Went to junior college for 2 years.
Where was junior college?
Palomar Junior College, right in San Marcos, California. And, I had a great time there. I was so thankful. Bob Vetter, who was my junior college coach, who recently has passed away. I was so thankful that he called me and my mom to go meet with him. We were just at a random practice, and one of their assistant coaches was there, and they said, you should go talk to this guy. And because I was dead set, I didn't get recruited. I was going to go walk on. I got accepted to the University of Arizona, so in my mind, I'm going to go there, walk on, and see what happens. But no, Bob. But I mean, Coach Vetter I'll never be able to thank him enough for bringing me in. But got recruited to Kansas. I was Coach Rich Price was a coach here. This is in 2003. But he was the only one that was really recruited. He showed me love, and he said, hey, you can play at this level. You're good enough. Come out to Kansas, and I did, and the rest is history. It's
pretty cool, because one of the common themes when I hear talk about people, all recruiting stories, but then athletic recruiting stories. Like, one of the things that draws people the most is just when they feel wanted.
Yeah.
There's a difference between like, yeah, I got a scholarship to this place or that place, or they offered me, whatever. But like, when I felt like this team wanted me, or they had a plan for me, man, that feels so different than like, yeah, you can come and compete. I remember there was a program that was recruiting me, and it was like, here's a scholarship because we kind of feel like you fit, you passed the bar test, but like, they didn't make me feel like I was wanted.
Did you feel like, because I know I personally felt like I didn't want to let him down. Like, you're right. And then like, it's like playing football or any other sports. You play all over the place. You'll play with other people that go to the school. But I remember we were playing against Stanford, and they made a comment about the other catcher. And in my mind, I was like, oh, I know I'm better than that guy. And I wanted to just prove it. I mean, the other catcher was a stud, don't get me wrong.
Right.
He played in the big leagues for a couple of years. He was an outstanding athlete. But I just used that as motivation, or a chip on my shoulder, like, no, you're not going to outwork me. You're not going to out-hustle me. I'm going to put on a show.
And to your point, like, it was, obviously you're a competitive guy, but part of that too was like, someone invested in me to be here to beat that guy.
Yeah.
So I need to do my best. I need to take some ownership.
Yeah.
And try to put my best foot forward out here when I'm going to compete.
100%. Yeah. I just remember the sense of feeling of just like being wanted, coming to a big school too. And part of it, I never really envisioned myself being that type of player. So just getting that opportunity, you just didn't want to let anybody down. You wanted to prove that they made the right decision, and go from there.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, obviously I didn't play at Division I level, but I felt similarly when it was, came time to compete, when it came time to get on the field. For me, yes, I had my own goals, but I remember there were a couple coaches specifically who I know they believed in me. They would talk to me in the off season, they would pump me up, they would coach me really hard.
Yeah.
But it was always in the spirit of like, it's because I believe that what you're capable of is this high and you're playing right here.
Exactly.
So get to this level and I'm going to coach your butt off so you can get there. So
I think having them realize what your potential is and having that higher than maybe what your own vision for yourself was. I had saying Coach Price was a very fair coach, would coach you hard, will tell you what you need to hear, even though you might not like it. It might be a shot to the ego, but that's that ego gets in the way of a lot of different things in life. So, but it came from a good spot to get you better, get the team better.
Well, I think about Coach Willie Fritz. He's the coach of Houston, in the Big 12 now, and he was my college coach. And that, at the time, I can just tell you, like, didn't love Coach Fritz, and he would probably tell you he might have felt the same about me, but he knew how to get the most out of guys like me, because he figured out and he knew my ceiling was higher, and that was something that I was appreciated was, hey, I'm going to get you to a higher ceiling because I believe in you.
Yeah.
Even if you don't like the way we get there.
Exactly. Well, I mean, it's just the motivation is the hope and the belief. I mean, it's impactful.
Yeah, truly. So, okay. So then you jump into the freight world once you get into your career, right? I think it was freight quote in Kansas City. Yes.
Yeah.
Afterwards. Okay.
Yeah. I was, once I got done playing baseball, I went to the financial services industry for about 3 years. And just to be blunt, hated life. That was just, coming out of, and a lot of it was trying to find what my identity. I think you and I have had this conversation before. You identify as an athlete for so long. Next thing you know, you're in the professional world. What does that mean? It's almost like your true identity is gone. You're rebuilding that going forward. So, but you talk about like mentors and people like my manager at New England Financial, Mike Rude, was just so impactful in my life. He showed me how to work. He showed me like this is how you build your recap, this is how you build your calls out, organize, this is how you do follow up. So it was just so instrumental in where I became. And so I eventually got an opportunity over at Freightco when I was there for about 5 years, was a broker for about 2.5 years, was a sales manager for about 2.5 years, and was really comfortable, borderline complacent comfortable, which I didn't really like. And I was just looking for something more. Freightco it was a great company. It was a great experience. I mean, they can teach you the industry, how to do it the right way. Be specific with different modes, whether it's truckload, LTL, intermodal, international. I mean, they just taught you everything. It was such a good training ground to kind of get your feet wet. And then after that, I went over to e-shipping. I had to sit out a year because I had a non-compete with Freightco. So I sat out and worked at a company called Basis selling for them. And then went over to e-shipping for 3 years. And again, had really just a great experience. I mean, e-shipping, you just got such a good quality group of people, top to bottom. I really felt they were different, and they still are. I mean, they're a great company. Was there for 3 years, and eventually I'd been in the industry for about 8 or 9 years, roughly, and just had that feeling like if I were running my own brokerage, I would do it this way. And I kept having that feeling, and then I remember talking over with my wife. Okay, I'm thinking of jumping and becoming an agent. Here at Tallgrass, David Anderson and Dave Barnes were co-owners of the company, and they had reached out. We had some conversation, but not much. And again, I think I was so terrified of being commission only for financial planning. Right. So I'd never do it again. But I just had this feeling inside, like, bet on yourself, go do it. And the funny thing is, when I came over to be an agent, one of the things I was going to never do again was manage other people. So my focus, my business, I'm going to do it. Not, I want to do it. Was an agent for about 2 years, and then got approached by Damon Anderson. Wanted to know if I wanted to kind of be like a liaison. So as we brought on new agents, someone that they could reach out to for questions, kind of go over how I would manage my day and manage my week, how I would handle customer interactions, just to be like a shoulder for them. Right. And I was happy to do so. So I did that for about 6 months, and then an opportunity came open to be the vice president of growth and development to kind of work with all agents, which I took on that role for a couple of years before moving on to the president role, which I've been now for since January 2023.
That's awesome. Very cool. I feel like that each step for you, I love to hear that journey, right? Because there was both some things that you might call happenstance. You had good managers or good people around you that gave you a model, but then also kind of throw back to your competitiveness of like, you gotta compete to build a book of business along the way.
I mean, sales is sales. It is hard. It's a reason why a lot of people fail at it, or maybe don't reach the level that they think they can get at. But it was one of those things I had to prove myself. Like, okay, I got to get back to making a call, build a prospect funnel, fostering relationship with customers. How are we different? It's always a big thing we preach here is how are you different from everybody else they're talking to, right? Because there's 24,000 brokerage MCs, something along those lines. There's no shortage of people trying to get you fired and get them in place. So, like, again, it's all about what are you trying to do to be different. So, the competitiveness was always, it was always a benefit because you knew how to compete. And I think, for those that don't have the or never experienced what true competitiveness is, you can still learn it. I mean, it's just still that inner feeling inside you that you don't want to lose. And that feeling of always you're going to fail too. So it was lingering in the back. The negative self-talk that can print in, especially working remotely. I know the majority of our agents work remote, but we do have a handful here in the Kansas City area that will come in. But when they're on your own island, I mean, you're your own coach. You are, have a mirror on your desk. That person in the mirror is the reason why you failed, the reason why you succeed. Pat yourself in the back and immediately and understand what you're doing is very, very difficult. I mean, when I came over, I remember Damon telling me when he first started Tallgrass Freight in 2012 that had another agent program recruited him, he would have been an agent just for how difficult it was getting the program. And I think when he started Tallgrass Freight, I don't necessarily think that was his vision, was to build this really successful agent program. It was really an opportunity for him to build something for his own and manage it, but it just continued to snowball. And like, I think we've got something going here. And then, like, when I took over the president's role in 2023, we had a pretty good group going. And my vision was like, where do we go next, right? The brokerage side of freight is always evolving. It's still going to continue to evolve. What are we doing from a tech platform? What are we doing from a support platform? What are we doing for just a general offering for our agents that makes them say, I'm better off being at Tallgrass than I'm better off being anywhere else. So, I mean, it comes with its challenges. I mean, despite what we're seeing in the market with theft, fraud, and, you're almost afraid to open any email you get now because it's going to make a phishing scam that's going to, debilitate you. But, we've got good core people. We've got a good solid team here, people that enjoy what they do, want to work together, want to collaborate, want to solve problems, and not just sit back and be complacent.
You talked about people a lot in that response, and obviously how important they are into building what Tallgrass is today. So, and I want to talk about too some of the challenges and everything along that journey in a minute too. But what and you talked about your own journey of having to differentiate yourself in the market. So, what is the DNA of someone who can be a successful agent? What does that look like?
That is a good question. I mean, you've got to be someone who's self-motivated that doesn't need a manager micromanaging you. And that
because you're all on your own.
It's up to you. All on your own. Like we're as hands-on or hands-off as people want. I mean, with the support, we'll check in and see how you're doing, but it's up to you. I mean, this is our whole goal is to provide a platform for brokers that want to start their own agency and have no disruption in freight. You start with us day one, you can start moving freight right away. Just as seamless as possible, but it's still on you. Right? I mean, I'm not going to pick up the phone for you. Happy to collaborate, happy to go on customer visits, whatever help you need and guidance. But it's all on you. But I think you should want it that way. It's more genuine. And I think that's why you're seeing success with a lot of the Tallgrass agents, because I think we do have some of the best talent in the industry, bar none. But they're experienced too. They know the customers they want to work with, what fit well into how they run their business, what markets they want to go after, what industries they want to go after. And they're very deliberate. I think it's when it's your company, it's your brand, it's your image. I think you always step up in terms of the level of how you approach customer conversation, how you approach the business in general. So, and that goes down to our back office team as well. We're here to provide support for our agents. Go do what you do best, which is foster those good customer relationships, build your book of business. Let us take the obstacles off the plate for you. Let us free up what no one wants. No one wants to deal with collections. No one wants to deal with applying cash payments. No one wants to deal with all that stuff that kind of bogs you down from what you truly are trying to do, which again is grow the business.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because you obviously, I mean, I think about my own business and that, the moment that I started Cover 3, there's like, hey, cool. Like I run my own business.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm my own boss. I can allocate my own time. So that's really cool. I can take a Tuesday off if I want to, but I also don't get paid if something happens.
Exactly.
And so there's this push pull of like, okay, it's really great to kind of be an owner, but at the same time, I am responding. I mean, you're the chief everything officer as an agent too.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta do everything, and it all falls on your shoulders. If something bad, you have to own that too.
Own everything. Yeah. I mean, you go back to the DNA. I think organization, having a plan, is critical. And again, no one's going to push you on the thing. We have accountability partners. How you doing on your numbers so far? But like, you've got to have that true motivation. What's your why? Have picture of your family in front of you, have goals, whatever the case. But you've got to have a why that's honing your focus into why you're going to be successful and why you're not going to, flame out, I guess, after a couple months just because it doesn't work. And don't leave any regret on the table. You don't want to get 6 months in and say, God, I wish I would have done this. I know. Right. I wish I would have had a plan. Right. I wish I would have had targets for me. I mean, the more you have, the better goals and what you're trying to accomplish. What's a good day? A good day looks like this. What's a good phone call? A good phone call looks like this. Just always have that mindset.
Yeah, I love that idea. I posted something recently on LinkedIn. I'm pretty active on LinkedIn. If you're watching this, you probably know that already. But like, one of the things I posted was the Mark Twain post about how you'll on your deathbed, basically, you're going to be more regretful of the things you didn't do than the things that you did do. And I mean, I think that in business so many times, like, even in my own case, like, there's moments where you're like, gosh, I've got to make a bunch of calls right now, and there's nothing, like, all I want to go do is like hang out with my 2-year-old or whatever, like, and that's a good thing too. But also, to get what I really want in the long term, I need to work. I need to do this thing, and like, finding people who can say, hey, I'm going to put the pedal down. I'm going to do this. Having that discipline and motivation is unique, but you'll also be so grateful. You'll reap the rewards and be grateful for it.
Will. And I think having proper expectation of what that means. I mean, starting anything is always the hardest part, and then sustaining it is hard, and then making it, impactful long before any kind of semblance of longevity is hard. I mean, I think people that everyone has different goals, but if you're trying to do this like as a side hustle, like I'm going to commit 20 hours a week. I mean, God bless. I hope everything works out for you, but it's just not going to work out for us. This is something, and anybody who's brokered freight, I mean, you don't know when stuff's going to happen. It's just, it pops up. It could be Thursday night at 9:00. It could be Monday at 10:30. You don't know when it's going to happen, but you've really got to be taken seriously and have your clear path as to why you're doing this outlines. And so there's no gray area. This is what I'm doing it for. This is what I'm going to commit to it. And then you got to rinse and repeat. You got to have that habit in the morning. No matter what happened the previous day, you rinse and repeat. The next day, the new one, start up, opportunity, you're one phone call away.
I mean, it speaks to the idea of like, who doesn't work in this industry? Like, if you're looking for a part-time, you're looking for a 9 to 5 to be an agent, like, probably not going to work for you.
I mean, I'm sure it can for some people. I don't want to lump everybody in that, but I think for the agent that has the highest level of success rate for Tallgrass, it's that opposite portfolio or a persona of, they want to do it on their own. This is something they want to do full time. They're trying to make something special for them. I mean, it's like, we have agents that like have kids. Like, my whole goal is after 10 years to bring my kid on and have him take over the business. And it's something that's tangible now, right? You're not building a book of business for another company. You're building something for yourself that, you can market. This is truly yours. It's not Tallgrass Freight. This is your company. So,
you guys have been a top 100 brokerage in the country. You guys are one of the fastest growing groups in Kansas City. I've seen those awards. Going from, talking about Damon being like, hey, let's start something and see what happens here, to being a sizable, competitor in the freight transportation game. How do you get there? I mean, obviously you talked about people, but like, is there a roadmap? Is there I don't know, that just is a big, there's a lot of companies that I've seen who would love to get there one day. What's that look like?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's one like size fits all. I am going to go back to the people. Damon is still, I'll say, one of the best freight brokers I've ever met in my entire life. He is just naturally gifted at it, and I think with his high energy levels, his motivation, he pump people up. I remember when I first started. I mean, I look forward to Damon calling me every Tuesday and just, hey, Sean, how you doing? Right? It was just always good to feel that want, like, going back to recruiting. Dave Barnes, who's our other owner, he came in 2015. I think, you got Damon, the visionary, Dave Barnes, the business visionary, and how do we make this something special? And then it was about, okay, we got to have good technology. And we've always wanted to own our technology. We want to be able to make changes to it. If we have to pivot, we have to be agile here or there. We can control the leverage of that. And the one thing that's very, very beneficial from us is we lean on our existing agents all the time. Like, what do you want to see? Because everyone's got different backgrounds. They've experienced different TMS platforms, different types of technology that's worked and what's hasn't worked. So we pull those ideas, and ones are like, yes, these are ones we got to action item out immediately on. We'll put them into our tech calendar and start getting them spit out that way. But it's you learn from a lot of mistakes. And any rule or any protocol you have in place is there for a reason, because something would happen. But as we started getting more and more quality agents, word of mouth spreads as well too. Your brand is so critical. Who you are. Our mission statement is we want to be a destination freight brokerage from the top talent in the industry to come start their own business. Yeah. How do we do that? We've got to preach what we say, or do what we say. Obviously, not what you tolerate, it's what you preach. Yeah. Well, what's that line from? Not what you preach, it's what you tolerate.
That's right. That's Jocko, isn't it?
That's the extreme ownership.
Yeah.
That's always stuck out. Everyone's been in a situation where it sounds great, but what's it really like? Yep. And that's one of the things we've told our agents. Like the whole goal is 6 months in. It's still the same thing we told you, in terms of the recruiting process. Right. But you got to partner with the right people, right? You got to, have a good marketing plan. You got to get your name out there, especially when you're looking for good quality agents. There's not just a database of freight agents that you go reach out to. It's very, very.
I wish I'd make a lot more money.
Okay. And then just always evolving. I think we can't get static. Our technology has evolved at least 3 times since I've been here. And it's a big ask. We've got a very, very talented group of developers in our IT department that basically anything's possible. Just how much time we're going to allocate to it, too. And then make sure the agents understand that they're valued. We always try to find. Obviously, we do our big Club 250 event every single year in the Dominican Republic.
Talk about that for a second. Yeah. I feel like that's a unique thing that you guys do, and I've heard nothing but great things from people about one, just the recognition, but then the camaraderie and feeling honored. So
and it's hard because with in our agent model, most people live outside of Kansas City. A lot of your communication, your contact is via Teams, via email, via phone. So the opportunities you get to get a bunch of agents that are very highly successful at what they do into one place for 4 or 5 days is very, very, very unique, but it's amazing. Yeah. I mean, I think most people tell you once they leave the Club 250 celebration, it's like, I can't wait to get back to where we get after it. Even from my standpoint, you get a sense of motivation. Man, we can still be better. We can still do this. We're just scratching the surface. So, and a lot of agents form very solid bond. If they get a Club 250, you get to know the family, you get to know what their motivations are, what their background is, and they'll lean on each other. One agent that specializes in trade, one agent that specializes in open.
And they can play off each other and help them out. Yeah.
And I think it's very unique where they're like, hell yeah, I'll show you how to do that. I'm happy to kind of show you this is what I do, this is the process, and you can kind of build that out. So I think that connectivity that you get from Club 250 is really, really special. And it's motivation where you don't want to miss one again. You want to keep going back to it. And so, we did Club 250 in Vegas for a number of years, and we did Mexico last year. I'm always trying to do something a little bit different every single year now. So that's what we're doing in the Dominican Republic. And,
it's cool.
We would love to have every single agent there if possible, and the more the merrier.
So remember, what's the qualifications to get into that?
So Club 250, any agent that produces $250,000 of margin in a given year. So you hit that threshold, you and your plus one are able to go to the
Awesome. Very cool. Yeah.
So we have other programs as well too. Diamond Club is for all $500,000 or more. Elite Circles for $1 million or more as well too. So we definitely want to recognize the success of our agents. I mean, hitting those qualifications, it's a big deal. It's really a big deal because not everyone can do it, right? And when you have such a large amount of our agents that are qualified for those different thresholds, it's really just inspiring to see. And they do it a different way. They want a different approach. Heavier on LTL versus heavier on truckload or whatever the case may be. But there's different paths that lead to the same goal. A lot of it, though, some similarities is they have a plan. Right. They're the most driven people you'll ever know. Right. They knock stuff out. Like stuff doesn't linger. Their to-do list gets accomplished every single day, probably. So it's just a matter of that similar type of mentality, and then iron sharpens iron when you get it all together for a couple of days.
Is that a part of that program? I feel like I've seen the marketing for this, so maybe you can expound. But is it the Millionaires Club? Is that a separate thing?
So that would be our Elite Circle.
Okay, so tell me about that.
Club 2. So Elite Circle. Anybody that hits $1 million or more in margin in a given year, you qualify for Elite Circle. Our whole envision for Elite Circle was bucket list items. Yeah. Right. What have you always wanted to do? Yeah. We'll send it. You want to go to Wimbledon? We'll send it. You want to go see an opera? That's cool. City? We'll send it there. Like, what do you want to do? I mean, so it's really up to the agent to kind of say, this is what I envision. I mean, there can be anything's on the table. Or you want to go surf the North Shore? We'll send you to the North Shore. So it's just a matter of what have they always wanted to do? There's got to be something more than just there's got to be more purpose to this life, right? The life memories. It's not just I hit it now. Right. 1 January, start all over. No, it's more than that. Like, let's go create a memory. That's something you're never going to forget. Let's, send your family out somewhere. It's like, this will be a long lasting memory that you guys will never ever forget as a result of your hard work. But it's got to be more than just every margin dollar counts. It's that's something special.
Well, and I appreciate you guys don't seem to shy away from conversations like that of things like purpose and things like, financial freedom. And other conversations I have, whether it's for a W-2 role or for an agent or for, an executive, like we all have goals inherently as individuals and as people. And so, rather than being like, man, let's just not talk about those things. Like, yeah, let's talk about them, because that way we can get there together and we can celebrate together. And no, do we all need to be workaholics? No. Do we all need to do it the same way? No. But finding ways to achieve more, and then the freedom and opportunity that creates, that should be celebrated and should be talked about. So I love that you guys.
100%. I think it's always something bigger than yourself. Right? If there's no purpose or why to what you're doing, anything, I mean, you're never going to reach your potential. You're always going to leave stuff on the table. But like, have your goal, have your purpose. I mean, write them down too. Like, don't have them up here in your head. Write them down, have them in front of you, review them. They might change, prioritize them a little bit differently, but you've got to have a purpose as to why you're doing anything in life.
Totally. Yeah. And that's, easy way to fail is to lose sight of your purpose.
100%.
You get bored, you get frustrated, you get stuck, and you're not going to keep going.
Exactly. And it's so easy for that to happen. That negative self-talk comes in fast and in a hurry too. And it just the self-doubt and being able to suppress that and get back to what got me here. The attitude, effort, what's my plan, executing, and just be the best version of yourself.
Yeah. So many times when I talk with people, could go back to the people thing. One of the most important things I tell anybody, if they ask for my advice or I'm giving that, is like, pick the boss you're going to work for. If you're an agent, obviously being your own boss is really great, but then pick people you're going to be around. Because that is going to dictate how successful you're going to be and how you feel about yourself. And man, if you have a great team, like you talk about Club 250 and the great people that are lifting you up and building you up, man, the chances of the iron sharpening iron, like your chances of succeeding are much higher when you raise your level.
Oh, I couldn't agree more. We also host agent roundtables once or twice a year. We'll fly them into Kansas City, and a lot of them will be some of our new up and coming agents that are still new to the program. And we'll also partner up with some of our veteran agents that have been with us for years. But that's another place in terms of building a bond. I just don't think you get that anywhere else, but just face-to-face learning, chatting with them. I just need open and honest, spending some free time breaking bread with them as well too. Is just a great opportunity for you to not only build a new bond that you're probably going to lean on here going forward, but also pick up what are they doing. Everyone leaves that motivated. Everyone leaves that like, this is what I'm going to start implementing right off the bat. And some of it's simple as just, I'm going to write out a daily plan every single day. Some of it's like, I'm going to put a 5-year plan in front of you. So it's all different. But, we really value that time we can get together because, again, most people are not in Kansas City. So you don't get to see them a lot. So those opportunities where you do get to have one-on-one time with them, it's you got to cherish it and maximize it every single time.
That's good. Makes me think of a practice that I've been trying to do over the past year. And I can't remember where I got it. If I do, I'll put it in the show notes. But it's from each person and from each piece of like content. If I listen to a podcast or I read a book, what is the one thing I can take away? So you talk about like high performers, like sometimes when I meet somebody who's like, man, they're incredible. What's like one thing I can learn from them? If I listen to a podcast, like what's one thing that can make me better? And then like try to write that down and just, not that you can implement everything, but the more of those that you take in, man, you're going to get so much sharper if you try to say, hey, what's one thing that I can learn?
Well, I think that comes down to your mental approach. Everyone's got good in them, everyone's got bad. Like, hey, mine's trying to look for something good. What can I take, like you said, and implement that to my daily life? And I know, like, and whether that's how you start your day, like, do you start your day off in meditation? Do you start your day off working out? Do you start your day off, whatever, having a gratitude journal? I mean, all that stuff I think is very, very impactful. But it's also impactful if you do it with a purpose in a meeting. It all comes back down to the purpose is why am I doing it, right? It's very easy, I think, and we've all done it where you'll look at the negative of somebody, like it's just that first thing that pops up, like, what's the good?
Right.
Because there is something you can pick out of every situation, that you can either take or you learn from it, right? If you learn from it, it's not a loss.
Yep, it's good. Let's pivot a little bit. I want to talk just the market that we're in now before we kind of wrap up here. It's a challenging market. Everybody I talk to, nobody's like, man, we're just blowing it out of water. It's best to around. Nobody's saying that. And if they are, I'm very skeptical. What would you say are the challenges you are seeing and how? And maybe speak to like, not only how's Tallgrass navigating them, but like, how do you think an agent should navigate a market like this?
Yeah, so it's obviously, very, very challenging. We were talking before the show how everyone's struggling some. but with that, I think there's still an opportunity for agents to really solidify the strength of the relationship with the customer. We talk about getting sticky with the customer, know the ship manager, know the guys in the docks, billing department, like, get sticky with as many different people within that company as possible. But, the uncertainty that's out there, a lot of customers are really scared to make any moves. I know it's a very difficult market to sell into.
Yeah.
Not saying you can't still have success, but there are some challenges. So I think it really comes back to the agent. I can't control those factors. All I can control is my attitude and effort. Right. What am I doing for my client? Because there is still opportunity. I mean, as of Q1 and Q2 this year, we still brought on 500 new accounts. I mean, which is
amazing.
A lot of that's from our agents really sticking to that plan and really being thoughtful and deliberate how they want to attack the day. New agent partners coming in that seeing the benefit of partnering with someone like Tallgrass and want to take their business and the brokerage to the next level. So it's all about trying to keep the noise out of there and just focus on what you can control.
Absolutely. Obviously, I don't know if there's a tactical, thought on this, but like everything we've got tariffs on one side, which is and that seems to change weekly.
Yes.
And then there's AI, which seems to also bring both fear and excitement. If you're in or just a freight broker in general, I hear things like, freight brokers won't look the same in 10 years. And that may or may not be true. As a freight agent, you talk about blocking out the noise. Is there anything tactically they should do different, right now today, or is it just man, I just need to focus on what I can control here?
I would say, obviously keep the focus on what you control, but always be open to a new conversation, right? I mean, tariffs and AI, I'd say that are probably the two biggest talk about things here all the time. And, I do think the brokerage market is going to look different in 10 years, but it's going to look different in 10 years no matter what.
Yeah.
It's always evolving. I mean, technology is only going to get better. AI is only going to become more and more relevant in how you can utilize it in your local business. I mean, we're looking at AI partners right now. So how can we introduce that to the agent? And the whole goal, again, is give the agents the most freedom to do what they do best, remove the obstacles that they're challenging. What's very manual tasks that we can automate for them? What are some different obstacles that seem to bog them down or get them stuck? Let us take that off of their plate. So open communication, but being open to everything, because I think there's a lot of fear around AI that it's going to, flip the industry upside down. It's definitely going to have an impact on the industry, but it could be very, very beneficial. It could be freeing up more time for you to have that extra conversation with that customer, or to have that follow up with an existing prospect to really kind of solidify, hey, are we a good fit? Are they a good fit for us? So I think it's just being open to everything, having open communication, have people you can lean on and trust. We do a very good job of trying to stay up to speed with people. How are they doing? Because especially people that are working by themselves. Because a lot of times, they don't have a lot of communication between just their customers and anybody else, especially on an 8-10 hour day that they're working for too. So really just trying to be intentional with your time to let them know, hey, we're here for you. We've got your support. Be open to everything. Not saying you have to jump in and say I'm going to do it, but be open to it. Right. You might come across something that just be wow, I wish I would have implemented this 4 or 5 years ago.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, there's so many different things with AI that I'm like you said, though, it's kind of coming no matter what.
Yeah.
So it's either we embrace what we can, or we keep doing things the way we've always been doing them, and there's obvious danger in that.
It's the scariest response I always say. And anytime someone comes new to our organization, and I always tell them, dive into everything, ask questions. And if anybody gives a response well, that's how we've always done it, circle that one in red, and next year we come back. There's got to be a reason why we have everything in place. Why we do something, it just can't be, we've always done it that way. It's got to be more than that. Right. And if it's not more than that, we've got to address that immediately.
No doubt. Awesome. Man, Sean, this has been really good. So I want to go back, kind of as we wrap up. I know in the past we've talked about, books or things that have been kind of helpful for you on your journey, but I want to go back to that. If you were giving one takeaway to, let's just say, someone in freight, maybe they want to be an executive one day, or maybe they're like, I just want to be the best agent that I can possibly be. What's a one takeaway that you would give them?
Challenge yourself. I think complacency can burden a lot of people and put a sense of fear that they can't do anything. But so challenge yourself. You can provide an opportunity. You're probably not going to be 100% ready for it. But, who are you partnering with? But, have that open mindset to I'm going to try something new. Because you're doing something over and over and over again, you're getting the same result and you're getting frustrated with that. Let's tweak it, change it up, put some more gas on, maybe how you funnel your leads or have you have conversations with existing customers asking for referral. I mean, there's so much stuff that you can do, but always challenge yourself, and always ask for how you can help. You know, I remember back in the old football days, I had to play balls like you did, but in high school, you know, it's just always like, what more can I do? You know, you hear that phrase, it's we, not me, a lot. But what else can I do to take on something you're playing or self-learn? You know, maybe sit in with somebody for an hour a week and see what they do, so their job. See, I can help them out as well too. But I think always have that helping hand out there. Like, we're here, we're all pulling from the same rope. We're all trying to be successful, you know, individually and as a team as well too. So just have that open mind, just to be willing to try anything.
Yeah, some of my best opportunities I've ever had in life, and I love that thought, is there's like a genuine curiosity that I've had with just people, friends, and clients. But then also sometimes they're saying, okay, I'm going to try something maybe I've done part of, or maybe I've not done before, but I'm going to do my best at, knowing that I might fail.
Yeah. And I think, you know, asking for help is a huge thing. Like, especially if you started a new role, because I know I face like imposter syndrome, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
You're just like, why me?
Right.
I'm the worst guy for this role. But when you have those feelings, that's somebody you can reach out to, because, you know, I will never be more thankful for Damon and Dave for the support they've given me. You know, it's almost 3 years here next year, but you know, they've always been there for me. They've always said, if you have a question, call. And when I call, they always answer. I mean, they're just, and they're so thoughtful and deliberate in how they provide the response, the confidence that they believe in. You know, confidence, man, you get that rolling. I mean, you can conquer anything in the world too. But have those accountability partners. Have that drive to be willing to step out of your comfort zone. If you don't do that, you're never going to change. You'll be stuck in the mud. You're not going to move. You're not going to progress. But you've got to do something that makes you feel uncomfortable. If it doesn't make you feel uncomfortable, it's probably not a challenge.
Yeah. I've heard like 3 different people here on this journey. Like, you need a coach. Right? Somebody's going to coach you. You need an accountability partner. Someone who's in the trenches with you, but they're going to say, hey, you know, you can do better. And then you need like an encourager. You need a fan who's going to say, hey, I believe in you. And
you know, all that wraps up. And I think you should talk about the accountability partner. They got to tell you what you don't want to hear. And you got to trust where that source is coming from. It's not coming from a hateful, vindictive story. It's coming from a source of, hey, we're all trying to accomplish something. I'm trying to get you better. Right. But having those conversations and trusting that, and really having those people you can really lean on, it's critical for long-term success.
Yeah. There's I can't remember the coach right now, but there's a coach that I followed for years, and he's an old basketball coach, but he would always say, if you love somebody, you tell them the truth.
Correct.
And man, that just has always stuck with me, because I hate it. Because sometimes for me, when I have to hear the truth, I don't like knowing, hey, you didn't do a good job, or you could be better, or whatever it is. But I also know that I think for my kids or that parent, you know, or whatever, I'm like, you know what, I'm not going to let my kid get away with this, because I love them, even though, you know, it's going to be an awkward or tough conversation.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, you don't know the truth. You don't know how you're really doing, right? You're never going to grow, and you're only going to limit yourself in terms of what your potential could be.
Yep. That's good. Well, cool. Well, Sean, man, love talking with you. If people want to get a hold of you, you know, to chat or to talk with Tallgrass, how should they follow along or connect with you?
Sure. Tallgrassfreight.com. You can go there, request information from us. You want to talk about what the agent role looks like and how we're different, what we can do to help support your book of business. Reach out to us. Our recruiters, our exec team is here anytime to have this conversation with you guys as well too. But you know, it's a unique opportunity. Despite the obstacles we're seeing in the economy, in the marketplace, there's still room for growth. And you still got to believe that there's always an opportunity for people who want quality relationships with their freight partner. You know, I think that's really where the strength of a broker can come in. The good brokers that are advocates for the customers, they'll solidify that relationship for as long as possible. But it's always a great opportunity. We'd love to hear from as many people as possible. Even if we're not a good fit, we're happy to be a resource for you guys and what might be a better fit for you. So it may not be now, it could be in a couple of years, could be in a couple of months, who knows?
Awesome. Cool. Well, I appreciate it, Sean. We'll look forward to connecting the next time.
Thanks, my friend.
Thanks, man. Yep. Thanks for listening to the Recruiting Stories podcast. If you haven't yet, subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. Check us out on LinkedIn, Adrian Chapman, and Cover 3 Consulting is our company page. Also check out our website, www.cov3consulting.com. Again, thanks for joining us, and we just simply want to remind you that you can change the world by putting people in a position where they can do the most good, and you do that by recruiting. Thanks again for joining us. We'll see you next time.